What's good, everybody? Pokemon Legends ZA has now released, which means it is time to get into the game. But I want to give you guys a few tips, some tricks you may need to know. So we're going to give you 30 plus, like 37 or so different tips and tricks for Legends ZA before you get started. And as you are playing the game, you can watch this even while you're playing the game, because there's some tips in here that will be useful for those people who have already started, for those who are just starting, and those who are already in the game. So let's get started. The first thing you should do when you start the game, number one, is adjust your game settings. So tweak your camera speed, your movement, like make sure that those things are fine. Number two, also double check that your camera rotation is the right way, because you can actually change your little mini map the way you want to have it. It can actually rotate or it can stand still. It's really up to what you prefer more, but you can actually change those settings yourself, which is really cool. Number three, if you plan on shiny hunting in this game, this is really, really important. You can actually go into the settings and you can change the audio, right? You can actually change the audio in the game. If you guys check right here, we can go over to the settings option. And in the settings option, we're going to be able to go and actually change our music. And this is really important. If you plan on shiny hunting, you ideally want to lower this to 0. Now, the reason for this is because if you want to get a shiny Pokemon, you're going to have to listen for the shiny sound. Now, I'm going to play the shiny sound here in the background. You guys should be able to hear it right now. I'm going to keep playing the shiny sound so you keep hearing it. Now, the shiny sound, the sound effect is very important. Ideally, you want to keep that at the highest. You can also maybe lower the Pokemon cries, especially if you're going to be shiny hunting. This is going to be really, really important for you. You want to maybe lower the Pokemon cry and make sure you have the sound effect at the highest, and then you're going to be able to hear the shiny Pokemon better. You're going to be able to hear it the most, right? Because it's going to sound the loudest. So this is super useful if you're going to be shiny hunting. Number four, check your party menu often. And what do I mean by this? Because if you do not check your party menu, like if we just go right over here and check our party, you guys will see that we have a bunch of Pokemon, right? However, if a Pokemon needs to, let's say, evolve, like a Pokemon is able to evolve, you won't actually be prompted by the game. The game will not actually tell you very much so, like if the Pokemon can or can't evolve. Instead, you're going to have to do that yourself. So, I don't know, let's take, for example, this Charmander right here and move him into our team. You guys will see that now he has a little bar right there. It says a little up arrow, and if we click on him, it says evolve. This is how you evolve your Pokemon. You will not be actually told by the game. There will not be like a moment where the game pauses and then tells you, hey, your Pokemon can evolve. That does not happen. It's something you actively have to check yourself. So always check your party menu. Also, another important thing is the first Pokemon that you have in your party at the bottom left is the first Pokemon that actually sent out in battle. So what I mean by this is, if you guys look here, if we go over to our list of Pokemon, you guys can use the little directional buttons at the left side of your left Joy-Con or whatever, or if you're playing on a Pro Controller, you can move that around to choose which Pokemon to shoot out. However, if you go into a battle with a trainer, the Pokemon you are selected on will go out first. So, for example, even if we went into a battle and I had my arrow right here on Charmander, Charmander's going to be the one that goes out first, not Emboar, right? It's like the last Pokemon that you have it chosen on will be the Pokemon that goes into battle first. So that's something important to just remember, so you don't go into battle with the wrong Pokemon out first. Also, always check your party menu for some other stuff too. You see, it's not just about evolutions. If you actually check your party menu, you'll notice that some Pokemon have brand new moves they can learn, but they will not be able to learn them just automatically. You will not be prompted. I mean, the Pokemon might mention when it levels up that, hey, you know, I can learn some new moves, but it will not take you into the party menu, will not pause the game or anything. Instead, if you want to change the moves or have any brand new moves, you just got to press the ZR button, right here. You press ZR on the Pokemon you want to change the moves on. You guys can see we have a bunch of different moves like Bulk Up, Takedown, Focus Energy, Fire Spin, Flame Wheel, a bunch of stuff. All of our old moves are down here too. So definitely a pro tip to keep that in mind. Also, speaking of moves, do pay attention to the fact that there is actually a different time of cooldown per different move, right? Each move has a different cooldown time, and they also do different amounts of damage, just like always, but the cooldown time just means how long it's possible for you to have to wait before the move is usable again. So yeah, that's really important to remember, and something I definitely think you guys should keep in mind. Next up, we're going to talk about catching wild Pokemon and also battling them. So number 8, which is remember you can catch Pokemon while they're dazed and while they're knocked out. But there's something important about this you have to remember. But to first show you what I mean is, if you're playing the game, and let's say we are in this location right here at Wild Zone 3, which is very early on in the game. If we go inside, let's find a Pokemon really quickly. Like, I don't know. Let's see if we can find a little Skiddo over here. Right, so here's a Skiddo. Now, here's an important thing. If we use Flamethrower on Skiddo with our Charmander, you guys will notice something interesting. First of all, we can knock it out fully. Right now, see, we've taken it down. There's no HP left. But if we try to catch it right now, right, it will be possible to catch it, or we can fail. However, we did catch it, but something very important you have to remember is, if a Pokemon doesn't get caught after you knocked it out, this is really important, you will not be getting that Pokemon. It will disappear. You only have one chance. Yes, there's only one chance to catch a Pokemon once you knock it out. So once you've knocked the Pokemon out, completely taken out its HP, you only have one chance to catch it after it fades. If you do not catch it after that chance, it is over and it's gone. So a pro tip I would give you is try to use moves that do less damage on specific Pokemon to lower their HP, because the lower their HP is, the higher the catch chance. And this is also why you have to pay attention to something very important, which is the catch rate indicator. Basically, if we go back into the game, you guys can see if we walk into the Wild Zone 3 again, and we check into one of the Pokemon here, if we sneak up on them, you will notice that they have a little bit of an indicator when you target them. So let's sneak up on, say, the Pikachu over here, right? Got a Pikachu that's right here. He's kind of noticing us, but if we target him, you'll see that there's like 3 arrows that show up, right? Now, actually, it's 4 arrows. So those 4 arrows indicate how easy Pikachu is to catch, right? Like, how easy is it going to be to actually catch him and add him to our team, right? So we're going to go up behind him here, and as you guys can see, there are 4 arrows. But see, now the arrows went down. So what that means is, when you get noticed by a Pokemon, you have a lower chance of catching it. And when a Pokemon doesn't notice you, you have a higher chance of catching it. And also, the higher and lower the levels are, that also, of course, impacts how likely you are to catch a Pokemon. So that's something to also keep in mind. But yes, the higher the arrows are, the more likely you are to catch them. But this is why maybe not knocking out a Pokemon is very important. If you can use like a move that's not going to do as much damage, like let's say if we pull out our Absol here, and let's say we go for the Pikachu just as an example. So if you go to the Pikachu right here, I mean, he's too low level where we're going to end up killing him. But what you want to do is, if you lower their HP, the actual, like, arrows will go up. So, right, you guys can see now the arrows have gone up to maximum. But instead what you want to do is, if you don't want to knock a Pokemon out, you want to guaranteed catch it, you want to just lower its HP to, like, almost to the point that it's knocked out, but not completely knocked out. And that way, you're guaranteed to have a higher chance to catching it instead of it dying or fleeing or whatever after you knock it out. So just something to keep in mind, very important, because if you knock a Pokemon out, that's it. You have one chance, and that's all. Also, make sure to buy Pokeballs in sets of 10. As always, you get a free Premier Ball when you do that, and you actually get a Premier Ball for any Pokeballs that you buy in sets of 10. It's just good because you get an extra ball, which can be really useful, because a good way to also complete your Pokedex is just as you're running around in the world, just throw Pokeballs at random Pokemon that you see. Number 12, there's always a guy outside every Poke Center who will actually return any Pokeballs that you missed in the wild. So if you throw around a bunch of Pokeballs, like I'm doing over here, if you just walk around and you throw like Pokeballs randomly like this, well, don't worry. If you talk to the guy right outside any Pokemon Center, literally any Pokemon Center, doesn't matter which one, there will be a guy there, a Pokeball guy, who specifically returns, actually it's a ball guy, wow, it's a Pokeball guy, but if you talk to him, he will actually return all your Pokeballs to you. Now, to know who he is, he basically just has like a yellow text above his head, just like this. Also, another thing now, which is about some items, rewards, and some upgrades you may need, which is this one. Use your pre-order codes. Yes, so if you pre-ordered the game, you will have a code for 100 Pokeballs that you can redeem. Now, to redeem it, all you really had to do is essentially in the game, open it up and go over to the link play section. In the link play section, you're going to be able to go over, and we will here be able to find ourselves the mystery gift feature. Now, for the mystery gift feature, you can just go here and get code or password. So you can do this to get your 100 Pokeballs. Just type in the code that you got in your email, and you'll be able to get those. But that's not all. You can also get Ralts plus the Mega Stone for Ralts with the mystery gift feature. So if you, again, if you pre-ordered the game, you will be able to, if you go into the game, go to the check mystery gift feature, which is found here as well in the link play, right? Same location. Go to mystery gifts and then go to check mystery gifts, and you'll be able to get your hands on it. And since we're on it, same thing you can do for the DLC luxury ball set. Yes, if you bought the DLC, if you already pre-ordered DLC, which is the Mega Dimension DLC, then guess what? You'll be able to actually get a set of luxury balls, but that's not all. You also get a special outfit called Holo X and Holo Y. You get these by, again, going into the game and just go over and check out the mystery gift feature, right? If you just go over to mystery gift, you go here, you click it, and then check mystery gift, you'll be able to get your hands on it. So just a bit of a quick thing you should know in case you do have those codes. It's worthwhile to do because you'll be able to get your hands on it very, very quickly. If you haven't already, definitely go and check out the Stone Emporium. Now, early on in the game, you'll be able to get access to this place right over here called the Stone Emporium. It's one of the earliest places in the game, and if you go to it, it's right down in the sort of center. It's right next to Wild Area 1, and it's called the Stone Emporium. If you go here, if you go inside, you can actually buy yourself a bunch of evolution stones. Yes, a bunch of evolution stones, even mega stones are available here if you haven't already found them, as well as a bunch of fossils. So there's a bunch of items here, and they unlock more items the further into the game you go, so not all of them will will be available right away. I think Firestone, Thunderstone, and Waterstone are the first ones you can buy right away, but some of them will be available late game. So please keep that in mind if you haven't already gotten your hands on this stuff. It's definitely something you get much later. While you're running around the game, you will see these mega crystals, right? These crystals on the ground, which you can target. Now, if you can target them, that's good, because that means you can attack them, right? And there's a reason you should attack these, because they drop something called mega shards. Now, mega shards are these rocks that you collect, and they're really important because later they can be used to exchange for different items, including, but not limited to, EXP candies, power belts, and megastones. There's actually about 32 megastones that you specifically get using these items. Like, mega shards are used specifically for that. It's a really, really important part, a really big element of the game that I would highly recommend that you do pay attention to. All right, next up, explore the rooftops. Yes, this game, the big part about this game is the rooftops and the scaffolding. And here you can actually find a very important item, which are the construction screws. These are specifically used and are from the Racine Construction Company. Now, this is a part of the story, so I'm not going to tell you much about them. But the thing about these guys is they have dropped a bunch of these colorful screws all around the different rooftops, which you definitely want to go get your hands on, right? Now, these screws, they can actually be exchanged for items like charms, which will boost your EXP rate or your catch rate. So it's really important that you do pick up these. They're basically like purple items. Like, if you ever see any purple items on the scaffolding, try to get your hands on them, because they are very important for the late game. And if you want to make like the game easier for yourself by having increased, experience rates, catch rates, even actually making yourself harder to kill by enemy Pokemon, like so they don't take out you as the player. That's also another thing. Also, talk to any NPCs that have yellow text above their head. You will notice a lot of these guys in the ZA Royale. Like, these guys specifically will give you items after you defeat them. So don't just run away from them after you've fought them. Sometimes they'll give you items, they'll give you money, they'll give you like loads of different things. So it's definitely worthwhile spending some time and actually, talking to these people. You can find them in the open world too. They'll actually give you random items and clothing sets and stuff as well. So definitely talk to every character you see. Next up, let's get into some of the exploration and time mechanics in the game. Number, I guess, I don't know, what, 20 plus at this point? Use the map to fast travel, okay? This is really, really important, but you can use the map to actually fast travel. You have a little icon next to places you can travel to, but that's not all. Make sure you actually unlock every Poké Center, because unfortunately, in the game, there is no way for you to traverse faster. You can only run. If you like press your B button, you can actually run in the game, but that's about it. So you're gonna have to travel a lot of places, and if you don't want to run to every location, a good way to get there is to, of course, go to every Pokemon Center that you see and talk to the Nurse Joy and just unlock that place as a, hub or point of interest where you can actually fast travel to. 21. So, to actually trigger the nighttime battles in the game, so to switch the game from being daytime to nighttime, there's actually, or vice versa, there's actually two ways to do it. And number one is to go to the Hotel Z, which is like the location you're staying at in the game, and finding your room. If you go inside, you can go into the bed and you can sleep. This way, you can change the time of day to night or day, or vice versa. However, alternatively, there's a faster way to do this. To do this is go to park benches. Yes, in the game, there's loads of park benches all over the place. If you want to change the game from day to night, you can simply just sit on these to pass time faster if you don't want to use the hotel itself. But that's not the only thing. Also, there's something you should pay attention to when you're playing the game, which is the minimap. Around the minimap, there is a timer that has a ring on it. As you guys can see, there's literally a ring around the actual minimap, which I can show you right here. It's really weird because I didn't notice it when I first played the game, but there is literally a little timer, right? If you look at that timer, it's essentially going down, and it tells you how long it essentially has left before it's going to change from time to day. Now, this is really important to remember. Super, super important, okay? When it hits 0, it's instantly going to change from day to night or night to day. And what happens is anything else you were doing is essentially going to be canceled out. What I mean by this is, if you were in the middle of catching a shiny, that shiny is going to disappear. If you're in the middle of doing literally anything, it is going to be canceled out. So please be aware of that. Pay attention to the actual clock, because otherwise you may end up losing on a Pokemon, like losing out on a Pokemon you're trying to catch, simply because the day and night thingy is going to change right as you're playing. Like, it literally happens. It happened to me a few times. So this is a fair warning. It can happen at any given moment. So be careful. Pay attention to the clock. Make sure that you just watch that it hasn't gone down to 0, because if it hits 0, then it's going to automatically change from day to night or night to day. Now, here's some details about the environment, right? So here's the thing. There are some places you'll notice where you can use things like almost Rock Smash. You can literally use Rock Smash to destroy some rocks. However, you don't need to just use Rock Smash for these. You can use any fighting type moves because the rocks are weak to any fighting type moves. Yes, so there are not only those. There's actually also ice paths and poison pools. Now, to get rid of ice paths, all you gotta do is use a fire type move or a contact move such as, you know, close combat or brick break or something. So any fighting type move would, I guess, work. And that's because ice types are usually weak to those things. But if you find a pool of poison, like a poison pool, you clear those with psychic moves because that's what poison types are weak to. So yes, these obstacles, you should always destroy them when you see them because sometimes they may be specifically there to block off something interesting behind them, like an interesting item, a special mission or something like that, or even a special path that you normally cannot access. So when you see those places, definitely destroy any of these like HM interactable obstacles. Also, battle the trainers that are right next to red boosters. These guys are little side quests, but if you ever see a trainer that stands right next to one of these like platforms that are kind of red glowing, battle them. For the love of God, battle them because they will then activate these boosters so you can get up onto the rooftops because certain rooftops are harder to reach than others. And speaking of rooftops, rooftop traversal is huge in this game, and sometimes the roof you want to actually go onto isn't always climbable directly. So instead, you're going to be able to climb up on a different roof, right? Climb onto another building and then use the double jump to jump onto that building instead. Also, sometimes you may not need to actually use double jump. There might just be a bridge that connects the two buildings and you can just do that instead, or you can just fall off. So yeah, make sure to not look at just the building you're trying to climb because sometimes you're not going to be able to reach it. Instead, look at the buildings around the building you're trying to reach and see if there's any way that they're connected, whether it's a way for you to double jump off of one to the other, or if there's a bridge that connects them in the sky. So definitely keep that in mind. Next, we have a massive section on battling and combat tips. So, number one, be careful in the ZA Royale. There's actually a lot of trainers very early on that have really strong Pokemon. Make sure to check their ranks. You'll see that every single trainer you're about to take on, if you like target their Pokemon and stuff, if you just like observe them from a distance, they will tell you their rank. So if somebody is a higher rank than you, be careful taking them on because they will have a Pokemon at a higher level. For example, I got destroyed early on by a strong trainer with a Pidgeot. Like, it was insane. It just wiped my entire team, and it can take you out very easily like that. So be careful who you take on. Next up, during battles, you can actually switch Pokemon freely, but you will have some incoming damage during the switch animation. So the Pokemon that goes out doesn't necessarily take any damage, but the Pokemon that comes in may be caught by the attack or the fire of the Pokemon attack that was coming towards your previous Pokemon. So when you're switching Pokemon in, be careful because as you swap, like, you make sure you swap at the right time, right? Swap right after an enemy attack to avoid losing any HP. Like right after an attack it's finished being shot out, like let's say if a Charizard shoots Flamethrower, then do the switch in, right? Just do the switch in and you won't take any damage because it will take a second for that enemy Pokemon to use its next attack. And by the way, also, make sure to always check the research rewards from Mabel. Sometimes it's easy to forget about them, but if you go into the menu and actually check them, sometimes it's worth it because you'll see that she has a bunch of like TMs and stuff that she'll give you that, you know, you can pick up, right? So it's definitely worth checking and definitely worth doing these rewards because at the end of the day, if you do all of them, you'll get a lot of great stuff. Like, for example, the Shiny Charm, the Master Ball, and 3 golden bottle caps as well, which are useful. Also, once you get Mega Evolution, there is a brief moment of invulnerability, right? There's an iframe during the animation. So if you're in the middle of a battle, try to use the animation of the Mega to avoid an attack that might be coming in. So if somebody's using Draco Meteor, Mega Evolve your Pokemon to not take any damage right at that second where it's hitting the ground. So really good to keep in mind that there are iframes. So iframes are basically like invulnerability windows, right? Like moments where you're invulnerable, you don't take any actual damage. That's what they are. So definitely during like the battles you have, make sure you Mega Evolve right as an attack is coming in to avoid it. Also, next up, when you're facing off against rogue Mega Pokemon, keep moving constantly. Because, oh my lord, they use very big, wide AoE attacks, and sometimes they will also do singular target attacks. But the thing is, they target you, the player, not your Pokemon. Yeah, use your Pokemon as a shield at this point. Also, keep rolling to also trigger the iframes, because if you're just running around, if you just like try to run, sometimes certain attacks will hit you. So what you want to do ideally instead is to roll right when an attack goes off to avoid it. Because you have, again, also, just like your Pokemon when it Mega Evolves, you as a player have a few iframes where you don't take any damage. And this can also really be useful but also change direction oftentimes, because the enemy Pokemon, like the Rogue Mega, will oftentimes shoot its attack off in the direction you were last standing, so just go in the opposite direction to avoid it as much as possible. This is really important, especially to survive early on in the game. Next up, do side missions early. Yeah, some actual missions early on reward you with some unique Pokemon that aren't available anywhere else. So definitely do some of the missions and do them as you're playing the game instead of like doing them at the end, because then you're gonna be filled. Your screen's gonna be full of like 100 different side quests, like what I had to do. But definitely do all of the side missions early on. It's gonna be worth it in the end. Next up, clear every wild zone before progressing to build your Pokedex for Mabel. So Mabel is the professor, and she's the one who gives you the shiny charm. If you reach level 50 with her Pokedex or her mission board, if you reach level 50 with her, you get the shiny charm. But the thing though is, you have to make sure you build out your Pokedex for this, and the only way to do that is by clearing out every wild zone. If you get all of them to 100%, that's a good way to start, and also getting them all to 100% can reward you with something. Another thing about battling that you should definitely pay attention to is that in this game, they've kind of removed some elements. Like, for example, if your Pokemon has a higher speed, that does not mean that that Pokemon is going to attack, like, or rather, that Pokemon is, well, it does still attack faster, obviously, but rather what the speed stat is actually connected to now is the cooldown of your moves. So if a Pokemon's, let's say, cooldown is 10 seconds on a specific move, that move, if you have a high speed stat, will essentially just go down. Like, it will just be faster. But that's not all. Also keep an eye on your stats above your Pokemon's HP bar, because here you will see these 5 dots. Now, these 5 dots are in the order of: the first one, it represents attack; the second one, special attack; the third one, defense; the fourth one, special defense; and the last one, speed. Now, if you see these guys, there will sometimes be arrows on them. If there is a red arrow that points up, that means you have actually boosted your stat here. And if there's a blue arrow pointing down, that means that stat has been lowered. So if we, for example, use Sword Stance, you guys will see our stats are going up with the red arrows. So that way we know that the stat has been boosted. However, with specifically, let's say, Sword Stance, it will not stack. So you cannot use Sword Stance more than once. I mean, you can use it more than once, but it doesn't mean that that actual stat will be boosted. It will just be boosted by one time, and you cannot stack your stats. Instead, all it does if you use Sword Stance 2 times in a row is that it ends up making that move last longer, right? It makes the actual buff last for a longer time. Also, right before a stat is about to disappear, like a stat boost is about to disappear, the actual icon, the little arrow that's red or blue, will start blinking. So pay attention to the blinking, so you make sure that you pull up like another buff right before it goes down. Also, something you guys should not forget to do is to use your plus moves. Yes, so every move can, I guess not every move, but eventually you can make every move into a plus move. But basically, plus moves are stronger than regular moves. Now, if you have a Mega Pokemon, all their Pokemon moves become plus moves. But if you have a regular Pokemon you want to use that's really strong, you want to make sure you use the plus moves to make their attacks even stronger. You do this in battle by just simply pressing the plus button while targeting a Pokemon, and it will make a certain move stronger. And then finally, events and some special rewards you definitely want to do. There's a really, really good thing that's back in this game, which is registering your birthday. When you go to a Pokemon Center early on, they'll tell you to register your birthday. So definitely do that to unlock a special celebration in the game, which also plays a cute little jingle. And also, there is a side quest very early in the game, which you guys can get a free shiny Mareep. Yes, a shiny Mareep that you can catch, which is really cool. And also, it's a good opportunity to see what the shinies look like in the game, like the actual shiny colors and all that. It's a perfect opportunity to see that, so definitely do that early on. Okay, something important in ZA Royale is, guys, if you do run into these guys and they notice you like this, the best way to avoid that is, you see the boxes on the left here. Well, what you can do is, after throwing your Pokemon to do the attack, walk to the left, because the human being will focus on you, not your Pokemon. So your Pokemon can go up freely and do whatever the hell it wants and actually do an attack, so you can get a surprise attack. Because surprise attacks save you time and also make you do more damage, where you can even knock out Pokemon in a single hit. And I think last but not least, to raise the friendship of your Pokemon, go to cafes. It's also a good opportunity to use the camera, which is another thing. Use the camera in the game to take new screenshots. If you press the plus button, you can actually remove the borders. You can take really good screenshots and like get really good footage. But also is the perfect place to raise the happiness of your Pokemon. So for example, if you have an Eevee and you want to evolve that Eevee into Umbreon, Espeon, or Sylveon, you're gonna have to go to the cafes, and you only have to sit with your Pokemon there for about, I want to say, 5 minutes or so until they reach the perfect happiness where they can actually evolve. So definitely do that. Go to cafes, sit there with your Pokemon for a little bit of time, and it will boost your numbers incredibly well. And that's it, guys. That is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then drop a like down below. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Hopefully you enjoy ZA. It was a great game. I've had a lot of fun with it, and hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun with it too. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching.